Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to Vaishnava devotees. Today we have Her Grace Nitya Kishore Devi, who will be speaking to us from the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. It's always nice to have Her Grace Nitya Kishore Devi. She is probably the daughter of Agni Dev. So we're very happy to have her. Madanita Kishore, Hare Krishna, and welcome back to your home. And if you're ready, we may put the verse on the screen and then you start speaking.
Okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam Udidayet. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, Verse 38. You can go down. Okay, I don't have control. Vaikarika manojage deva vaikarika dasha digvatarka prachetosvi vamhindro pendra mitraka. Vaikarikat, from the mode of goodness, mana, the mind, jage, generated, deva, demigods, vaikarika, in the mode of goodness, dasha, 10, dik, the controller of directions, vata, the controller of air, Arka, the sun, Pracheta, Varuna, Ashwi, the Ashwini Kumaras, Vani, the fire god, Indra, the king of heaven, Upendra, the deity in heaven, Mitra, one of the 12 Adityas, Ka, Prajapati Brahma. Translation. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. From the mode of goodness, the mind is generated and becomes manifest, as also the 10 demigods controlling the bodily movements. Such demigods are known as the controller of directions, the controller of air, the sun god, the father of Daksha Prajapati, the Ashwini Kumaras, the fire god, the king of heaven, the worshipable deity in heaven, the chief of the Adityas, and Brahmaji, the Prajapati, all come into existence. Purport. Vaikarika is the neutral stage of creation, and Tejas is the initiative of creation, while Tamas is the full display of material creation under the spell of the darkness of ignorance. Manufacture of the necessities of life in factories and workshops excessively prominent in the age of Kali or in the age of the machine is the summit stage of the quality of darkness. Such manufacturing enterprises by human society are in the mode of darkness because factually there is no necessity for the commodities manufactured. Human society primarily requires food for substance, shelter for sleeping, defense for protection, and commodities for satisfaction of the senses. The senses are the practical signs of life, as will be explained in the next verse. Human civilization is meant for purifying the senses, and that objects of sense satisfaction should be supplied as much as absolutely required, but not for aggravating artificial sensory needs. Food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification are all needs in material existence. Otherwise, in his pure, uncontaminated state of original life, the living entity has no such needs. The needs are therefore artificial, and in the pure state of life, there are no such needs. As such, increasing the artificial needs, as is the standard of mature civilization or advancing the economic development of human society, is a sort of engagement in darkness without knowledge. By such engagement, human energy is spoiled because human energy is primarily meant for purifying the senses in order to engage them in satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the supreme possessor of spiritual senses, is the master of the senses, Rishikesh. Rishika means the senses, and Isha means the master. The Lord is not the servant of the senses, or in other words, he is not directed by the dictation of the senses, but the conditioned souls or the individual living entities are servants of the senses. They are conducted by the direction of dictation of the senses, and therefore mature civilization is a kind of engagement in sense gratification only. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification, and one can do this simply by becoming an agent for satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord. The senses are never to be stopped in their engagements, but one should purify them by engaging them in the pure service of sense gratification of the master of the senses. This is the instruction of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna wanted, first of all, to satisfy his own senses by his decision not to fight with his kinsmen and friends. But Lord Shri Krishna taught him the Bhagavad Gita just to purify Arjuna's decision for sense gratification. Therefore, Arjuna agreed to satisfy the senses of the Lord, and thus he fought the battle of Kurukshetra as the Lord desired. The Vedas instruct us to get out of the existence of darkness and go forward on the path of light. Tamasi ma jyotirgama. The path of light is therefore to satisfy the senses of the Lord. Misguided men or less intelligent men follow the path of self-realization without any attempt to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord by following the path shown by Arjuna and other devotees of the Lord. On the contrary, they artificially try to stop the activities of the senses, yoga system, or they deny the transcendental senses of the Lord, jnana system. The devotees, however, are above the yogis and the jnanis because pure devotees do not deny the senses of the Lord. They want to satisfy the senses of the Lord. Only because of the darkness of ignorance do the yogis and jnanis deny the senses of the Lord and thus artificially try to control the activities of the diseased senses. In the diseased condition of the senses, there is too much engagement of the senses in increasing material needs. When one comes to see the disadvantage of aggravating the sense activities, one is called a jnani. And when one tries to stop the activities of the senses by practice the yogic principles, he's called a yogi. But when one is fully aware of the transcendental senses of the Lord and tries to satisfy his senses, one is called a devotee of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord do not try to deny the senses of the Lord, nor do they artificially stop the actions of the senses, but they do voluntarily engage the purified senses in the service of the master of the senses, as was done by Arjuna, thereby easily attaining the perfection of satisfying the Lord, the ultimate goal of all perfection. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyanam Janam Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyavascha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for the invitation, and I'd like to apologize because I got a problem in my watch last class. It was 1 hour behind, and when I really saw the time on the computer, it was past 1 hour for the class. So I'm very sorry for that. Thank you, Sahadev, for replacing and give the class. And well, we could speak 1 week or more, 1 week minimum, about Srila Prabhupada's purport, because there are so many important points that he is touching, he is mentioning, he is explaining, and of course, not only Srila Prabhupada is there explaining, but Srila Prabhupada collected. He did a study of the Acharya's comments for SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sri Dharma Swami, and also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this is this incredible purport doesn't come only from Srila Prabhupada. It comes from all our disciplic succession, the explanation. So if we think that something's contradictory or something's wrong or something that doesn't match the reality, or it's because we are failing to understand what they're saying. So we have to make an endeavor by trying to understand seriously and deeply what they're saying. So if we do that, and then spiritual life is much more easy. Okay, so I have here the database. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. If you stop to see me, please let me know, because I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing my screen. I'm seeing the Bhagavatam.
Oh, the
Okay.
Bhagavatam is actually taken off the screen.
No. I have here in my computer.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. You don't have to do anything. I'm just asking you if you are
Yeah.
seeing me. If you
Yes.
don't see me, you just
Yeah, we
let me
see.
know, okay?
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's start. First, I would like to share something very beautiful, that's written in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat was written by Vrindavana Das Thakur. Okay, and this is the first book about Lord Chaitanya. The second one is Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the first one is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat is describing more in detail about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Lila when he was Nimai. Okay, so this is the reason why Krishna Das Kaviraj he's saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita like that. Oh, I'm not giving details about these pastimes, because Vrindavana Das Thakur already described it in Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Mangala, two names. Okay, and in Chaitanya Bhagavat is saying that when the devotees, when they jump in the kirtan, they are purifying the low planets when they jump in the kirtan. When they raise their hands to the sky when they are doing kirtan, they are purifying the heavenly planets. And when they dance, they are purifying all the 10 directions. This is what he says. He says also, there is no envy when devoted. The energy of envy is not there when we are doing kirtan together. So Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Mangala is a very, very incredible book that's worth it to research and read. It's very, very nice. So here, when it's speaking about the 10 directions, the controller of the directions, I got inspired to share this knowledge from Vrindavana Das Thakur. Okay. If you have questions about Vrindavana Das Thakur or the book, please, you post them after. We can talk about it. Now, let's go to the purport. The purport is very deep. There are so many subjects here that we could be touched. You put here, you want to put here? Okay, please go down. Okay, good. You can go down. Okay. Neutral stage of creation, Vaikarika, and the Tejas, initiative of creation, the mode of passion. Tejas means passion, and Tamas means ignorance. Darkness means that those living entities, they're born, they're manifested in the material world, in the Mahatattva, they don't know, they don't have answers for the questions: who am I, where I'm coming from, why I'm here. It's covered by the false ego. They have to forget their relationship with Krishna. And with this, the forgetfulness of the relationship, all the forgetfulness about everything is there, about their nature, about their origin, where they're coming from, why they have that. Because if they remember Krishna, they cannot enjoy. So they made a choice to enjoy the material world. And Krishna, he is so incredible and so liberal, and so he's renounced that he made all arrangements for the living entities that wanted to be far from him to enjoy the material world. This is his mercy. This is very good, very nice. You can choose all kinds of bodies, all kinds of desires. You know, like we shouldn't say that's bad, because everything which comes from Krishna is good. So how can you say that if material world is bad, if the people are suffering? But many times we can see, you know, when you have kids, they're grown up, they're very big, you know, it doesn't matter what you're saying. They have to go through suffering to understand, and they don't like when you push them in your maturity. You know, many times what can be good, what can be bad, how things are going. And then many times we want to save our kids of suffering by pushing them to make decisions, forcing decisions, you know, about their lives. But they don't like that. They don't like to be pushed. They don't like that we push them and tell them what to do. We have to allow them to make mistakes. Then they are happy with us. So it's the same. We are all Krishna's children, and we don't want him to tell us what to do, only when we choose it. So why the Vedic literature is teaching sense gratification? 96% or 95%, 97% of the Vedic literature is how to enjoy in the material world without being so entangled, without being in trouble. That's Vedic literature. Then 2% is jnana, because some very small quantity of people, they decided that I want to know what's going on here. It's a very, very small, you know, quantity. And then very, very small people, they want to love Krishna. Then the Vedic literature for devotional service is very extremely small. And why? This is Krishna's grace, because this is our desire. He's just fulfilling our desire. But the material world has its rules, has its consequences, and is under control. Who is the controller? Devi. The name of this planet, according to the material world, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, is Devi Dham, the house of the Devi. That means Durga Devi. This is her place. She has her rules. She has this under control. And if we want to stay here, and if you are staying here, so we are under her rules and her control. Okay, so this is, I'm talking about the first sentence of the purport. That's talking about the material world. Then down is saying, Prabhupada is criticizing the factories and because they create artificial needs, and there is no control, or there is no balance in how much they are sophisticating the life. And because we are not the body, we are our identity, real identity. We are spiritual souls. So it doesn't matter how much good that it can be, the material world will never be 100% happy. But there is something else, one problem that we did. Because Srila Prabhupada, he didn't say here that those who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, just practicing, just trying, just accepting a guru, they are not conditioned souls anymore. They're just pure, and they have to live in this world how they were pure. This sentence isn't there in this purport, but this is the way we interpreted Prabhupada's explanation about this sentence that we just saw it. We interpreted that we are already pure, we are practicing, and we don't need a job, we don't need a proper house, we don't need to go to the dentist, we don't need any money, we don't need to work like everybody else to have retirement, to have insurance. You know, we decided to have a hippie life, a beside society life, by misunderstanding what Srila Prabhupada is saying. The knowledge that Srila Prabhupada is giving in this purport is for us to balance our life. What does it really mean? I'll give a very, very gross example. Fame is an energy, a very powerful energy. Fame, knowledge, they're all entities, they're all demigods. So when a person is extremely famous, usually because this energy is very difficult to deal with, they become disturbed in the mind. And they only can find balance when they have spiritual activities. It doesn't matter the church, it doesn't matter what kind of yoga they are doing, it doesn't matter. It's just like they need solace for the soul. They have everything: money, fame, beauty. So many people love them. They have very good relationships, blah, blah, blah. They can do, eat, whatever they want. They have the job they love, everything. But they're not happy. So those who are really happy to become, when they get old, or when they're going to the family, they have family life, they need balance with spiritual understanding and spiritual activities. Many times, isn't it? So we need that. Everybody needs, and a devotee of Krishna also needs balance. This is for us to have balance. How much fame, how much name, how much money, how many houses, how many cars, or whatever you have in this world, it will come, it is coming from past lives' activities. And then, because you have the knowledge, you will understand how to deal with your past karma. What? Somebody may born in Switzerland as a devotee, or in America, or in Brazil, or in Africa, or in Bengal, or in Bangladesh, in India, and maybe it's very rich, from a very good family, a billionaire or a millionaire, or poor. It comes from past lives. And when you have knowledge, anyone have to know how to deal with that, and according to their nature. And it's so interesting and so real that in the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is talking about Arjuna. Prabhupada said Arjuna wanted sense gratification. What does it mean if Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he wanted to renounce? This is what he said to Krishna. He said, no, I prefer to go to the forest and renounced. This is the best thing I can do because this war is completely crazy. I don't agree. I don't care. We all will die. The women will be damaged, all our families. And this is my own family. I don't want to kill my family. Come on. This is his arguments. And Krishna says, look, man, I'm so surprised about your behavior. You have a duty. You forgot who you are? I cannot understand. So that's the discussion. And then Krishna started to tell him everything about his spiritual life for him to make a better decision. And a better decision means not to renounce his prescribed duties. And according to the Bhagavad Gita, the prescribed duties were born from the nature, his nature and his karma, guna karma. So the idea that by sacrificing and making myself unhappy and making myself ugly and poor will satisfy Krishna is very strange for intelligent people who observed our society. They say, what kind of God is this God? He wanted you to be poor, ugly, idiot, because everything you do is for your ego. Yesterday, I heard a class from one devotee. He's very good, but this kind of mentality is so inside, and we heard it so much that he was saying in his class, oh, if you study Sanskrit to become a Sanskritist, or you study philosophy to become a very big philosopher professor, so this is not what you should do, because it's just for your ego. It doesn't satisfy Krishna. So that's a wrong understanding. Because we are in the material world and we are contaminated, we were born contaminated, otherwise we're not here. In every activity that we are doing, some mistake, some ego, some bad intention, some problem will be there. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do it. It doesn't mean, yeah, okay, there is ego. Oh, I know this shastra, that book. Some ego is there. You have to purify that. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do it. So in the past, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 35, the devotees learned from their authorities in the temples. Even today, nowadays, sometimes they say that everything you do because it's ego, so you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have it. So then we have an army of many times unqualified people, because they're thinking that get education means your ego. And now how less educated you are, less diplomas you have, less you know, more humble you will be. Please pay attention. I will repeat. Less qualified you are, more stupid, more ignorant, more humble you will be. That knowing a study will make you proud. And you lose the humility, and the humility is very, very important for being accepted by Krishna. But this is not what we experienced. It just makes your self-esteem very low. And also because you don't have skills, it's very difficult to serve without skills. So it's wrong. Completely wrong. 100% wrong. Wrong interpretation. And Srila Prabhupada is telling also in this purport about the factories, about how useless is this, how bad is it. So he's showing that this is not the path of liberation or self-realization. You know, we are criticized nowadays because our discourse, our statements, Srila Prabhupada's statements, they look very behind and now and contradictory, because now we're here talking. I'm having a MacBook Air M1, and I'm completely sure that many of you has a very good phone, a smartphone, otherwise you couldn't hear this class. And Sahadeva has a microphone. I don't need the microphone because this computer is very good. It has so many things. So I don't need it. You know, what Prabhupada wants to say is, if there is sophisticated things we use for Christian service, as he's saying about his own dictaphone, devotees bought for Prabhupada at that time the best dictaphone that they had in the market for him to do his service. And he was telling, oh, this is very good. But this was created by manufacturers. So how can you explain? It seems contradictory. Srila Prabhupada is saying that to show us that the spirit soul doesn't have such needs in the liberate state. This is what he is saying. And that we shouldn't sacrifice completely our spiritual life just to pursue material things. We should have one balance, and we should have a limit in what we are doing. But sometimes our house or our family or our job needs some marathon, needs some sacrifice that we have to do. Then we have to think about what will happen when I'm old. It does, if you work hard, it doesn't mean that you forget Krishna when you are old or in the future. Because I saw many devotees, they worked very hard and they became a very good devotees. It doesn't matter, you know, like when you are in the material world working hard, it doesn't have the question to forget Krishna. You can't forget. Material world is so miserable. The relationships are so miserable. Kali Yuga people are so are so crazy, and by understanding the Bhagavatam and hearing the Bhagavatam and chant, even it doesn't matter if you're working outside hard or not, we always will see how crazy is that. And inside our hearts will be born the desire, the real desire to leave this material world. We will understand what's really serious. I saw many times some so-called devotees that they are kind of renouncing, but because their life is so without challenge, and they even don't, they start to, their energy is using to attack another devotees, because they even don't understand how this material world working, because they are living one life very artificially. So inside our hearts, we really can see how much suffering is this much in the material world. And every day we can see and how Krishna is wonderful, and how he is the father of all living entities, and how he is present. How like Prabhupada said, Swami, can you see Krishna? And Prabhupada said, I am surprised you cannot see, because Krishna is everywhere. So this point is very important. How not to misunderstand what the acharyas and Prabhupada said and give our own interpretation. Because in this purport, it doesn't say that by joining the Sankirtan movement, you're already pure and you don't need retirement, you don't need money in the bank, you don't need the doctor, you don't need the dentist, you don't need anything. It doesn't say that. Isn't say that. It's saying, the state is saying to us the situation of this material world. It's telling us, is informing us, look, this is what is happening. So desire to leave this material world. Develop a desire to leave this world, to be liberated, understanding what's happening here. People, those who are not chanting, or those who don't know Bhagavatam, they don't understand what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what to do, where to go. They have no idea. That's so bad. They're lost. We are not. But it doesn't mean that we don't have work, that we don't need dentists, we don't need doctors, we don't need wives, we don't need sex life. It depends for past lives, activities, what we need, what we don't. Like Jayapataka Maharaj took sannyasi 21 years old. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyasi 24 years old. Jayapataka Maharaj took sannyasi younger than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Completely pure. That's his position. And the others, in Brazil, there is a sannyasi also, Chandramukha Swami. Now he is guru, and he's so happy. He took sannyasi also very young, joined ISKCON, maybe 18 years old, something like that. So some people, they really got it from past lives. But all of us, we are in the journey. We are in a journey. So there are some things that we understand quickly and some things that we understand slowly, and there are some things that we will not understand at all. And we just have to practice the process. And the process of hearing and chanting and being informed and do like Arjun and do our duties, that will give us enough knowledge to understand and to desire. This is the first thing. To desire to leave this world. We desire to leave this world. We don't desire better bodies, fame, name. We just live and we just, oh my God, I don't want this. What a crazy thing. I don't want to born here again. Really, for real, inside your heart, inside your mind. Nobody's watching. Nobody knows. You understand. You know. You think, oh my God, I don't want that. Gosh, I want to live it. Yeah. Because by suffering, we understand. By working outside, we understand also. By have to deal with this world, we understand also. But you know, in this 10,000 years, in the golden era of Lord Chaitanya, even we don't have to become so depressed. And no, there is kirtan, there is prasad, kirtan, prasad, sangha, association. You know, this is what we have to we just like people say, I am eating my way back to Krishna, or I am singing my way back to Krishna by doing kirtan, or I am, you know, it doesn't mean that you do kirtan the whole day long and then your wife, your kids, or your husband, and you know, and oh, the kids doesn't have any clothes or nothing to eat, so I am in the temple, I was doing kirtan for the Lord. Come on. What's your first duty if you have kids? Is to feed them, is to dress them, is to take care of them. Then after the kirtan, if possible. If it's not, you know, we have to think before we have kids, because after we have them, and then they are the priority. And Prabhupada said that, not nobody else. He also had kids, and he also chose his family. He didn't renounce. He said to his guru, no, I cannot. I just got married, sorry. And then he went his path. So this is an important point, that this lecture, and here in this place, coordinated by Sahadeva and his friends, this lecture are for grihastas. So how grihastas, how they understand and how they can put in practice the Krishna consciousness process. Because if you're talking to sannyasis or brahmacharis, then it should be different. What's the problem was? We were hearing teachings made for brahmacharis and sannyasis, not for grihastas. And grihastas' life became crazy and miserable. But our philosophy is for everyone. Our philosophy means varnashrama. And I repeat this. This mentality that you must be celibacy. You must do celibacy to be very, very much, to be advanced. It came from Buddhist culture, and the monks from the Buddhist culture to us. It is not varnashrama. In varnashrama, everybody is fine. Everybody is happy. In varnashrama, everybody is okay, according to your nature. Oh, you want to be a celibate, very nice. Oh, you want to have kids, very nice. Oh, I want to live in the temple, very nice. Oh, I want to live outside and earn money, very nice. It's according to your nature. This is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't allow that guy. They told, oh, this guy only drink milk, he's very known, so we called him for kirtan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what? No, no way. Get him out of here. It doesn't mean anything. We have to pay more attention about what we are hearing, and we have to put on discussion, and we have to reflect, you know, because Varnashrama and Krishna, Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, or Lord Krishna in Uddhava Gita, 11th canto, or, you know, the sages, they're very amazing. They're amazing. If something's gone wrong, this is not their fault. It's fault it's our problem. It's now our misunderstanding, not them, not their fault. Okay. So this is the summarize, and as I told you before in the beginning of the class, I believe that this whole purpose, you can talk a week about that. You can get every sentence, every group of sentence, and, you know, discuss. But what I'm saying here is this is what my understanding is summarized of what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport. Okay, so I am stopping here, and comments or questions, please talk to Sahadev. Don't talk to me.
Thank you so much, Madam NITYA KISHORE. Thank you so much for the class. Dear devotees, if anyone has a question, comment, realizations you want to share, please, you are free to do that by raising your hand, physical hand, or using the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to speak. Madam NITYA KISHORE, well, again, thank you for the class. I am beginning to see how difficult it is to actually be a worshiper of Krishna, be a worshiper of God, because you were talking about, of course, that's what Srila Prabhupada was saying in the paper, that the battlefield of Kurukshetra, even though Arjuna was a Kshatriya, but most of the time we read these things and we do not have any attachment to what we're reading. In other words, we do not put ourselves in the position of the people we are reading about. Because if I should put myself in the position of Arjuna, and I am a warrior, I am a soldier, and now I'm being told to kill all my relatives, that is a very difficult task. And so I see the reason why Arjuna was reluctant to fight, but Krishna chastised him. So my question is, how do we know that what we do not want to do is actually what Krishna wants us to do? If even it is against our wish, we do not want to do this because common sense tells us that we should not be doing it. But maybe that is what Krishna wants us to do. How do we know that exactly this is what Krishna wants us to do? Hare Krishna, that's my question, please.
I thought exactly that when I read that sentence. And it means to go deeper. Yeah, okay. In this case, Krishna was there present and telling Arjuna, look, this is the what you should do. And then, but what about us? Anyways, look, the whole Bhagavad Gita is very deep and telling Arjuna to do his duty. And his duty comes from his nature, from the nature. So Bhagavad Gita teachings is about how to do your duty, understanding the whole scenario of who you are and what the material world is. So it means that the consciousness is different, but the activity may be the same. Like if a person is a very good singer, very famous, like Ravi, Srila Prabhupada disciple, 1 million people were going to his concerts, and he was honored by the government. And he got very rich and famous and all those things. But his consciousness, he is different because he is a devotee. So now he's retired. He is 70 years old. He made this because he's a maestro and he's a pianist and he is a singer. So this is his profession and this is his nature. And what did he? What he did? He is now preaching in Caracas. He opened a center. It's called Atma Yoga, and he has so many followers. And he is telling them about spiritual life. And also, all his sons and daughters, they're devotees. Secondly, he is now going to Govardhan and listen to Vaisheshika Prabhu and chanting and spending time in Mayapur. So, Bob Dylan is also very famous. What is he doing now? We don't know. But what Krishna is saying, Arjuna, is to change his consciousness. And you're saying, or I was thinking, how can we know it's wrong or right? Well, everyone, even normal people, they have gurus or people who can guide them. And but what the Bhagavad Gita is saying is, do your duty, but your consciousness should be higher by understanding the three modes of nature, the karma law, the time factor, who is the Ishvara. Don't do your duty in ignorance. Do your duty understanding what is all about. And what's my duty? Oh, your duty comes from your nature. Oh, I don't know my nature. Get a psychologist and try to understand your nature. And then you always can talk to God brothers, God sisters, and to Guru. And Prabhupada said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Guru should be very expert to engage the disciple according to their nature. I heard about a Guru that was putting down the disciple for 25 years because the disciple is a musician. So he never found value in this disciple service because he's not a book distributor, or he's a musician. So then this disciple was always feeling that something's wrong with him. Prabhupada, he was not like that. Nothing's wrong with you, with your talents. How do you want to engage them? How do you want to engage the senses? How do you want to engage your talents? So we shouldn't feel bad for our talents, for our nature. We just have to practice the process. We shouldn't make anybody feel bad. And the gurus in ISKCON, outside ISKCON, they have to understand. I think many of them didn't understand this point. If you put saffron, that's the only thing that's valuable. The rest is not valuable, whatever. Or if you have a PhD, they may respect you. But everything what people do should be appreciated. Every contribution. Their talents is given by nature, and nature comes from God. Okay, I know this is very different than what we had been told for all those years. But one thing we are sure, that we saw many bad results. And why? Why? Because, our generation, we have so much shame, and we don't live ISKCON or Krishna consciousness because we have a connection, your youth, our friends, the Guru. But then the thermometer is our sons and daughters. Are them committed? And why? If they're seeing we are not happy, or we did bad decisions, or we are fanatics, they leave Krishna consciousness. They leave because they say, I don't want to be like that. I don't want that for me. What my parents are, what they did to their lives, I don't want that. And then they just do something else. Oh no, I'm going to another mata. I like kirtan, but I don't like ISKCON system. And they just go to another mata. We see this many times. Why? So then we have to think about that, observe that, and try to understand, because this is this sangha, what we are doing here, this gathering, is for understanding the philosophy, how to put in practice, how to understand what's the result of the practice. This sangha is for that. So then we are doing that. I hope it answered your questions.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. In fact, about a year, if not more, ago, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj gave class on this same platform. And there was one Mataji who shared a very sad incident that there was one young little Vaishnavi. She was like maybe 8 or 10. And she was very actively distributing flyers when they had a big festival in Poland. And just about a week or so later, she was diagnosed of cancer and she passed away. So
The girl.
Girl, yes. So this Mataji was telling His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj and was also asking, what do the devotees need to do? And I was very, very much impressed by the answer Maharaj gave. Maharaj said, you should go there, see the mother. If the father is there, see the father, be with them, mourn with them. And he warned, nobody should speak philosophy. And I really appreciated that because oftentimes devotees, when there is a situation like that, will be tempted to speak philosophy. That is just the nature of the material world. We are born, we're going to die. But that is not the time to be speaking such philosophy, even though it is true, but that is not the right time. So trying to say something in connection to the statement you made in answering my question. There are some devotees, some may be gurus, some may not be gurus, who are trying to live as much practically possible as it is, than especially the early days where so many people were just throwing away everything material that is not necessary. Don't go to school, don't do this, don't do it. I think slowly that mentality is dying out. And we should be very happy that such mentality is dying out. So thank you for answering the question. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Yeah. Anyone else with something to ask or say, share, please? You may do that.
Yeah, there is no question. It's 1 p.m. here.
Yeah. Okay. So you are 1 hour ahead of me.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there is one other question too I had, because you were saying Krishna was telling Arjuna that he wants to gratify his senses. And here is Arjuna. What senses did he want to gratify? He actually even wanted to go live in the forest and meditate. So what is sense gratification in that? So what did Krishna mean when he said Arjuna wanted to just gratify his senses?
No, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says in the purport. Prabhupada says in the purport,
Yeah.
it seems that anything that is outside your prescribed duty is sense gratification. You know, something came to my mind now. The mother has to take care of the kids, but then festival is going on. Okay, if she leaves the kid and goes to the festival, it's not devotional service, but sense gratification, because the duty is to take care of the kid. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems that when we thought that actually this is I'm liberated, but you're not. You're not. If you accept the family, you accept the family, and you are you have duties towards your family, and your duty and what you have to do is towards your family. And the rest is even if you leave your kids to go and do so-called devotional service, it's not correct. It's very interesting, you know, but actually even if sometimes we do it, of course, because then but that's not what we have to do. So then it's sense gratification. So I know it's hard to understand and hard to accept, but in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that Arjuna wanted sense gratification. So when my duty gets harder or gets difficult, I want a way out. And then I'm going to the temple, and then I say that this is my devotional service, but actually I'm just escaping my duties. So I know this is very deep, and it's hard to say and hard to hear. But what will liberate you and what will make you understand and make you really desire to be free from the material world, and to go to Krishna and to purify yourself, it is not neglect your duty, even if you say it's for going to the temple, to the festival, you know, something like that. A mother has to do a lot of sacrifices like that. For example, the kirtan is going on. Kirtan is going on. In Mayapur, kirtans get better and better and better, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., but the kids are tired. You have to leave. You have to leave the temple and go take care of them. They need to take a bath. They need to sleep. They need to eat. You have to leave. You can't stay. You staying is sense gratification. It's going and take care of your kids in the time that they need you. That's something else. That's real understanding. And then it maybe will born in you the desire not to have a family, like the sannyasis. I don't want anything to what's the name? To stop my kirtan. I don't want anything to stop my devotional service, so I'm not getting married. You know, but once you get, and once you're there, you know, this is your nature, then you have to bear. Grin and bear. Pensa, mãe. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself. I said, thank you for saying what you just said, the latter part of your sharing, that I watched a video, a short video clip, and let me see. We might not be able to watch it all, but I would like to share it so that the devotees may also learn something from our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. We all know Srila Prabhupada was a sannyasi for a very long time before he even traveled to US, to the West. And his youngest son shared a very beautiful memory, which I would like to play briefly so we can also learn something from Srila Prabhupada. That being a devotee, no matter which category, does not mean that you throw away your family completely. Like some of us were made to understand initially. No. So let's hear. This is remembrance of Srila Prabhupada Jaladuta Yatra 50 years ago by his youngest son, Vrindavan Chandra Day.
I was there.
Oh, good.
Hare Krishna. আমি আপনাদের উপস্থিত দর্শকবৃন্দ এবং শ্রোতৃ মণ্ডলকে আমার আন্তরিক শুভেচ্ছা এবং ধন্যবাদ জানাই। যে সম্মান আজকে আপনারা আমাকে দিয়েছেন তার জন্য সত্যি আমি গর্বিত। অনেকে
I would like to offer my grateful thanks and my greetings to all of the devotees present in this assembly. The honor that you have given me is really wonderful and I feel very humbled by it. Hare Krishna.
আমি ওনার শিলপ্রভুপাদের যাত্রার দিন থেকে এবং তার আগে থেকেই ওনার সাথে আমার বরাবরের যোগাযোগ ছিল এবং উনি যখন কলকাতায় আসেন আমেরিকায় যাওয়ার দিন সাতেক আগে উনি আমার সাথে রেগুলার দেখা করতেন এবং আমাকে বলতেন ওনার সাথে যোগাযোগ রাখতে। তা
before about 1 week before he departed for America, he had already contacted me and he had instructed me to keep in touch with him as he was preparing to leave for America.
এবং যাবার আগে উনি কলকাতা থেকে মেডিকেল চেক আপে এসেছিলেন এবং ওনার প্যাসেজটা কলকাতায় থেকে দিয়েছিলেন সিন্ধিয়া স্টিম নেভিগেশন কোম্পানি এবং যাবার দিন সাতেক আগে আমি রেগুলার ওনার সাথে যোগাযোগ রাখতাম। উনি জোড়াসাঁকোয় এক ধর্মশালায় উঠেছিলেন কারণ উনি তো সন্ন্যাসী ছিলেন, কোনো গৃহস্থ বাড়িতে থাকতেন না। আমাকে ওই ধর্মশালায় নিয়ে গিয়েছিলেন, দেখিয়েও দিয়েছিলেন যে তুমি এখানে আসবে, রোজ আমার সঙ্গে দেখা করবে এবং যোগাযোগটা রাখবার চেষ্টা করবে।
He had come to Calcutta before his departure for America. He had come to Calcutta for his medical checkup and he was stationed in a dharmashala in Jodasanko and he had instructed me that I should keep in touch with him.
As a marketer, I know that creating and scaling video content for your brand can be super difficult. That's why we use Riverside. Creating video
As a sannyasi, he would not live in any grihastha's home. Therefore, he was staying in that dharmashala.
যেদিন উনি রওনা হবেন তার আগের দিন আমার সাথে ওনার ধর্মশালায় বসে কথা হয়েছিল প্রায় ঘণ্টাখানেক এবং উনি ওনার যাবতীয় ইনস্ট্রাকশন দিয়ে রেখেছিলেন যে কলকাতা থাকাকালীন আমি কি করব, আমায় কি করতে হবে। এছাড়া ওনার ব্যক্তিগত ব্যাপারে উনি বলেছিলেন যে তুমি কাল সকালে আসবে, এসে আমাকে নিয়ে যাবে, আমার জাহাজে প্যাসেজ বুক করা আছে। হ্যাঁ আমি জানি। তা আমি তখন ওকে বাবাই বলতাম কারণ আমি তার কনিষ্ঠ পুত্র এবং আমি তার পরের দিন সকালে ওনার কথা মনে রেখি পরের দিন সকাল আমি ভোর 5:15 সম্ভবত সেকেন্ড ট্রাম ধরে আমি কলেজ স্ট্রিটে থাকতাম তখন এমজি রোডে আমার মামার বাড়িতে অর্থাৎ প্রভুপাদের শ্বশুর বাড়ি আর কি।
So the day before his departure he had talked to me for over an hour. He had given me different instructions, some practical guidelines as to what to do and then he had told me to come. He said that you should come tomorrow and take me to the ship and that I have my passage in the India Steamship Company ship, so you please come tomorrow. So I remember I had taken the tram, the second tram, which was about at 5:15 a.m. in the morning the next day. I was staying at College Street, Srila Prabhupada's in-laws house, you can say, my maternal uncle's house. I was staying there, so I started from there at that time in the morning.
তার
Well, Hare Krishna. Devotees who are interested may want to watch the entire clip later on, but the reason I played this is to remind devotees that being a devotee does not, like Mother NITYA KISHORE was saying, does not mean your family has become an enemy, that you have nothing to do with them anymore. It's actually the contrary. You do anything, everything you can to help them, as much as you're going to do anything, everything you can to help those that are not your blood relations to become Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Shimabara Prabhu, you have something to say, please unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My obeisances to Mother, to all the devotees of the Prabhupada. So, are you hearing me? Because I'm in a noisy place.
Yes.
All right. So, your question, that's what I'm really, because I came late anyway. So, that's why I was thinking whether I should or should not. But anyway, so your question about being asked to do what we don't like to do. Arjuna was being asked to kill his relatives. So that makes you think that worshiping Krishna is difficult. But I think the whole idea of having a guru is to know that we know that somebody knows better than us. That is also the role of parents. The child wants to stay at home to play. And then the parents say, you must go to school, right? So it's not what the child wants to do. But the parents know better, isn't it? So I think that is the whole idea, that by the time we're accepting to do what we don't like to do, in fact, it is considered to be part of progress, that if you really want to progress, you should learn how to do what you don't like to do. Like submission. How many people like to be submissive? We don't like to submit ourselves to anybody. If you want to grow, you have to be submissive. So there are a lot of things we don't like to do. That's the whole idea about giving up your comfort zone. So if you really want to do always what you like to do, you cannot grow. And that is why we have to submit to a higher authority who can direct us and guide us. So it may not be to our taste, but the higher authority, parent or guru, knows what is good for us. So it is not a bad idea to learn how to do what we don't like to do. In fact, it is a catalyst for growth. So that's just my contribution. Thank you.
Well, Hare Krishna, thank you for the contribution. I don't know if Mother NITYA KISHORE has something to say in regards to that, but what I would like to say in regards to that is, yes, it's absolutely necessary for everybody to seek the shelter and the help of superiors, especially those who are already established in whatever they're trying to pursue. But the difference, though, is that Krishna is Krishna. He is all-knowing. The guru is representing Krishna, but the guru may not necessarily be all-knowing. And if we always have to just go by what the guru is saying, excuse me to say, depending on what the guru is saying, then we may be wrong, because as a matter of reference, there is a situation going on in Ghana where gurus, GBCs, told some devotees who were trying to pursue the situation to refrain from pursuing it. But they were wrong. And if devotees had just followed that, then the case would have been dead. But devotees did not follow that. And so some actually say that it's a guru apparat, which externally may mean that it's guru apparat. But truth is truth. And therefore, that is what I'm saying, that depending on what the situation is, it's quite difficult to ascertain whether what you are being told to do or not to do is actually what Krishna wants you to do. NITYA, KISHORE, DEVI, if you have something to say, please unmute.
Two things. One is about the GBCs or gurus that gave, thank you, Mom, that gave a wrong instruction. We always thought that because somebody is a guru or is chanting 16 rounds, they know everything. It's wrong. It's wrong. Chanting 16 rounds doesn't give you engineering knowledge, computer knowledge, psychology, psychology for kids, systems of management. You know, some people 70 years old, GBCs in Latin America says that nobody can replace them. How come they say that? Because they really don't understand what they are doing, how much damage they are doing, or they don't understand the science. They cannot evaluate who is qualified, who is not qualified, because they don't have the knowledge. Being a sannyasi, being a guru, chanting 16 rounds, no shastra, it doesn't mean that you know everything. That's my first comment about what you said about Ghana. It happens in many places. You ask one person who knows. For accounts, you ask an accountant person. For administration, you ask a manager. The systems. And then, of course, they always, gurus, they are inspired, they remember us Krishna, they share the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM knowledge, the realization, they inspire. They don't know everything, first. Secondly, the Prabhu, who was giving the comment before, he said, we do always what we like, and doesn't mean we are progressing. Everyone, as a mother, as a father, as a professional, has to go to different paths and difficulties. This belongs to the material world. But what the devotees do, they bring to them suffering, thinking that by suffering, they will be pleasing Krishna more. I didn't see Prabhupada doing this. I read Srila Prabhupada's biography, 20 books. The way Prabhupada was dealing with the devotees, they want them to be happy. Srila Prabhupada said about Janaki, the wife of Mukunda, what's happening? And she's not happy. She has this complaint, that complaint, that complaint. Srila Prabhupada said, why she's not happy? Because even when you do something that you love to do, even if sometimes you have to go through night doing, you're happy. Because this is what you love to do. So sacrifice becomes something else. So some people, not only devotees, some people, they think that by bringing me suffering, it's like the Christians who has this hate to punish themselves, then they will be purified by physical violence or by mental violence, you know. And this didn't give to people good results. It's kind of how can I say? It's kind of a torture, unnecessary torture. Living this material world inside the body already a torture. I don't believe people enjoying it. You just try not to make it worse. You just try not to make it, you know, horrible or impossible. You know, make you like how many problems we have with people. They have mental difficulties. In Mayapur, so much mental challenges. So everybody's asking, please, Mental health is a very big concern, and there are no enough psychologists to take care of the Mayapur community devotees. Don't push yourself like that. This is not thinking, oh, I'm enjoying here, I shouldn't. I'm enjoying driving this motorbike or this car here in a road, and I shouldn't, because when I'm peaceful like that means Krishna is not happy because I am. What is this? What is this? Krishna is not like that. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, they are not like that. They don't want you to torture yourself. So don't torture yourself. And naturally, we have to do sacrifice when the goal is established. The obstacles are there, and the obstacles are difficult to come, and the suffering will come. You have to be tolerant, you have to be humble to reach the goal. The goal is Krishna. So even if somebody like, I am in ISKCON 33 years, how many things I got? From temple presidents and problems and difficulties, I won 3 tickets to India. Why? Because I was a big book distributor, 12 hours daily work since I was 17 years old. So I got 3 tickets, different rewards. And then my temple president told me twice to drop it. I dropped it twice. 3rd time I said, please, it was 1996. I have to go this time. Please don't ask me. He was about to ask not to go again to collect for the temple. I said, please. One of the things that happened to me, just one. So you don't have to call trouble. Trouble is there already. This is a material world is a trouble, material body is a trouble, old age is a trouble, disease is a trouble, family life is trouble, relationships are trouble. Why bring more trouble? So whatever this Prabhu said and whatever he wants to do, this is his choice. It doesn't mean that by bringing trouble, then Krishna will be happy and whatever you are doing that you like is sense gratification. It doesn't. You don't have to do that.
Actually,
so, sorry, Sahadev. Now is 1:26. Today is my working day. I am doing some marathon here in my company, so it's my working day. So right. I have, since I can see here there are no questions, I have to leave. So I can only stay for 5 minutes more. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I just wanted to reiterate something. My senior god brother has been sharing with me and lots of devotees here, that there was a time some devotee asked our Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, about the situation that was going on in Ghana, but you are a Guru, you're supposed to know about it. And Bhaktivedanta Maharaj told him that is nonsense. Krishna only reveals to his devotee what Krishna wants him to know. So being a guru, as we understand it, does not mean that the guru is all-knowing. And that is why the guru uses some devotees as his representatives, so that the representatives can know what's going on the ground, and then they will inform him. But if the representatives on the ground are giving the guru false information, and the guru, based on the false information, is taking decisions, that does not bring any disqualification or imperfection on the side of the guru. The guru is still perfect. The guru is still wonderful devotee.
God's representative.
Yes, it goes to the representative.
Of course.
That is the problem we have. So this particular case about Ghana thing I was talking about, there is nothing wrong with whatever the guru is saying. The guru is saying what he's saying based on what the representatives are telling him, and the representatives are lying to him. So what do you expect? So thank you, devotees. Madam NITYA, Kishore, thank you for being here. On this note, we're going to humbly request the devotees to kindly unmute and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Vancha
Panchakapatarivyascha,
Kalpataru,
Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam
Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Grace Nitya Kishore Devi Dasi Mata